Hey, Pastor Josh here. We're reading Exodus chapter 13, verses 1 through 22. And you and I both need to remember that God has strong hands. God is a very strong God, and He has moved in powerful ways in the past. Probably both in our lives and obviously in the recorded history in the Bible. God has worked in a mighty powerful way and has proved that He has strong hands, that He is more than capable of taking care of your needs and overcoming the obstacles that are in front of you. But the problem is that we forget about that, or we get overwhelmed by the particular problem or situation in front of us. So we need to take some time and we need to remember. Of course, God doesn't literally have hands. He did, of course, through Jesus, or still does through Jesus, and the miraculous fact of the incarnation that God became a man. But when we say that God has strong hands, what we are saying is that in a metaphorical way, God has the capacity to do anything He wants to do. And in fact, He can do some pretty powerful things. And we have seen that in the Exodus, in all the many plagues that God did against Pharaoh and against Egypt. And God is going to be telling His people, He's going to tell the Israelites, you need to remember, I've got strong hands. And the way that you remember it is going to be through celebrating the Passover over and over again. You need to remember it, and then you need to tell the next generation this fact as well. So let's get into our reading. The Lord said to Moses, consecrate to me all the firstborn, whatever is the first to open the womb among the people of Israel, both of man and of beast, is mine. And so the Lord is saying, the firstborn are mine. You need to dedicate them to me. You need to give them to me. That is the command there. And obviously, there are things that we need to consecrate to the Lord as well. We need to consecrate, in fact, everything that we have. God owns everything, and we need to think as we go throughout our lives, we need to think as if we are stewards of everything God has given to us. Indeed, consecrate to the Lord everything that you have and ask Him how He would have you use the gifts, the abilities, and the resources that you have. God is telling Moses that all the firstborn in particular are going to be consecrated to Him. And this is, of course, because of causing them to remember back how the firstborn of Egypt died through that final 10th and terrible plague. Then the Lord goes on and tells them how they are to remember this great day, this great Exodus. Then Moses said to the people, remember. Of course, that's a command we need to continue to do today. Remember. Reflect upon the goodness and the graciousness of God. Remember this day in which you came out of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. Remember it forever. For by a strong hand, remember He's a mighty God, strong hand the Lord brought you out from this place. No leavened bread shall be eaten. Today, in the month of Abib, you are going out, also called Nisan. Abib and Nisan, both the first month of the Israeli year. Today, in the month of Abib, you are going out. And when the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which He swore to your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, you shall keep this service in this month, always during the month of Abib, the first month of your year. I want you to remember how I brought you out of Egypt. Brought you out of slavery. And here's how you are to celebrate. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, no yeast in the bread, starting on Sunday all the way to the end of the week. And on the seventh day, Saturday, which would be their Sabbath day, their holy day, the day that they're worshiping, there shall be a feast to the Lord. Unleavened bread shall be eaten for 7 days. No leavened bread shall be seen with you, and no leaven shall be seen with you in all your territory. You shall tell your son. The reason we're doing this is so that we can pass it on to the next generation. How are you doing mentoring and telling other people about God, the things in the scriptures, particularly your children, if you have them. But if you don't, who are other people that you are investing in? Tell your son on that day, it is because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. And it shall be to you as a sign on your hand and as a memorial between your eyes, that the law of the Lord may be in your mouth. Again, for with a strong hand the Lord has brought you out of Egypt. The Lord has a strong and mighty hand. He's able to help us in whatever situation we're in. We need to remember that. You shall therefore keep this statute. It's another way of saying this. You need to remind yourselves. You need to do this thing at the appointed time from year to year, so that you will remember that I, your God, have a strong hand. When the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to you and your fathers, he shall give it to you. You shall set apart to the Lord all that first opens the womb. Again, this whole idea of consecration, and in particular, the consecration of the first. The first is always special, no matter what it is. In this particular situation, we're talking about the firstborn, but anything that we have first is special. Your first job, your first vacation, whatever it is, your first home, your first car, these things are all special the first day of school. And the Lord is saying you need to set this apart and make it special. You need to dedicate it to me. And I think we would do well whenever we begin tasks and events to set it apart to the Lord. The new year is coming soon. Are you going to set the year and set the first day apart to the Lord? All the firstborn of your animals that are males shall be the Lord's. Every firstborn of a donkey you shall redeem with a lamb. If you will not redeem it, you shall break its neck. So the donkey, in order to be redeemed, must be killed with a lamb. So a sacrificial lamb substituting in the place for the donkey. If not, his neck shall be broken. And isn't this kind of a picture of the gospel right there? You can think of yourself as being a donkey, and that the Lord himself, that great sacrificial lamb, died in your place so you did not have to have your neck broken, spending an eternity in hell. Every firstborn of man among your sons you shall redeem. And when in time your son asks, what does this mean? You shall say to him, why? By a strong hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt from the house of slavery. This is a fact of God. He has a strong hand, and you need to remember it. Verse 15, for when Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let us go, the Lord killed all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of the man and the firstborn of animals. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all the males that first open the womb, but all the firstborn of my sons I redeem, I buy back. And that's exactly what the Lord has done for us. He has redeemed us from the power of Satan. Satan has nothing on us now. He can no longer condemn us or accuse us, because Christ has paid the ransom. He has paid the price so that we could be set free. It shall be as a mark on your hand or frontlets between your eyes, for by a strong hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt. Verse 17, then Pharaoh let the people go. God did not lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. It's interesting. The Lord is making sure that he providentially takes care of his children. He knows if we take them straight to the Philistines, that there's going to be battles, there's going to be hardship. The Israelites are not ready for that yet. So he takes them a longer direction so that they can avoid these early battles. They have to get their reps in, if you will. They have to get used to trusting the Lord, which is going to be a big exercise for them as they come out of Egypt. For God said, lest the people change their minds when they see war and return to Egypt. But God led the people around by the way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea. And this is going to set up a battle between the Lord and Pharaoh yet again, because Pharaoh is going to pursue them. And the people of Israel went up out of the land of Egypt equipped for battle. Notice they are equipped as soldiers. We saw the end of chapter 12 that they came out, their hosts came out of Egypt, great army. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had made the sons of Israel solemnly swear, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones with you from here. So they are honoring their ancestor. They're taking Joseph's bones with him, and they are going to bury Joseph with his grandfather and his daddy. They're going to bury him in the promised land. Verse 20, when they moved on from Succoth and encamped at Etham on the edge of the wilderness, and the Lord went before them, leading them and guiding them with a strong hand, by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might travel by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day, and the pillar of fire by night to not depart from the people. The Lord is always graciously leading us, and of course doing it with a strong hand. Remember the great God that you serve. Pray that it's been a blessing to you, and I'll see you in the next video.